Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's Friday again. This time it's Parashat Nitzavim. In our parasha, we are coming to one of the final stretches of Moshe Rabbeinu's speech to the Jewish people before they're about to go into the land of Israel. And indeed, we start at Atem Nitzavim Hayom. Moshe Rabbeinu turns to the people and says, "You are all gathered here today. Kulchem lifnei Hashem Elokechem, Rasheichem, Shivtichem, Ziknechem, Shotrechem, Kol Ish Israel." The whole Jewish people standing here, from the very elites, from the leaders, until the regular Joes, the regular Jews. Tapichem, Neshichem, V'girchasher Bekir Machanecha. The women, the children, the strangers. Michotev Veitzecha Ve'ad Shoev Mimecha. Until the very lowest of manual laborers. Everyone is gathered. For what purpose? Le'ovrecha bebrit Adonai Elohecha u'ba'alato asher Adonai Elohecha koret imcha hayom. To all join this brit, this covenant of Hashem and the Jewish people, to leman hakim otcha Hashem, leman hakim otcha hayom lo le'am. Because today you are in many ways cutting the ribbon on becoming the Jewish people, God's nation. V'hu yelecha le'Elohim kasher diber lach. This parasha is in many ways the opening ceremony of the Jewish people as a people. Liot lo le'am, to be a people. As was promised to Avram Avinu, and here the Jewish people, finally, after coming out of the land of Egypt, and they've built up throughout the desert their tribes, their camps, their I would say the structure of civilization, the structure of the society. Now Moshe Rabbeinu says, guys, this ship is ready to sail. It's time to, throw the bottle of champagne and to announce we are a go. Green lights. Interestingly, this isn't just a point in history, this relationship between God and the Jewish people. And, by the way, all of the small print as well, that being the God's people, the chosen people, also means that we also have to uphold the standards, as we saw in the previous parashot. If we do not follow in the path, there will be consequences. Because everyone who is gathered here today is included in this concept of the Jewish people, the people of God. And even those who are not here today with us. Who is this referring to? This is referring to all the different generations, to all those who shall come. The Jewish people here has started not just the journey of that group of individuals that left Egypt or their children and are about to go into the land of Israel. We're not just talking about a historic people in the past. We're talking about a Jewish nation for all time. And then Moshe Rabbeinu says, and remember, you have to become a Jewish nation and you have to become a nation of God. This is a monotheistic nation. Indeed, because you've come from Egypt and you've seen the different idols and pagan worship and customs of the different nations that we've passed through. And you've seen all of the different types of idols, different metals, the different materials, and the different ideologies that we've passed through. You guys have been around the block. And you know that there are other options out there. You are part of a monotheistic people of God, of one God. But you recognize that there are alternatives that you have experienced. And here comes the crux. Pen yesh bachem ish or isha. Maybe there might be among you a man or a woman, or mishpacha, or a family, or shevet, or a tribe. Asher levavo poneh hayom me'im Adonai Eloheinu. Maybe there is someone or a group of individuals who does not wish to subscribe to becoming the people of God. And you want to step out of the Jewish nation and worship other gods. Maybe among you is a weed, a a like kind of a sprout that is actually growing in the wrong direction, that is something unnatural in the garden, that is actually an outsider growing from within, that you do not recognize, that you're not following the path of the journey that Jewish people are going in. In many ways, you are undermining, you are undercutting, just like weeds in a garden very often will end up killing the plants around it. You are poisoning the garden of the Jewish people. And when you stand here and when you read the Torah in future generations and you hear about the destiny of the Jewish people and the challenges that they will face along the way and the important small print that the Jewish people are held to this standard, and you say, no, this does not apply to me. I'll go on my own specific path. I'm only interested in myself. All I care about is my own, individual needs, my own thirst, my own hunger. I don't care about the klal. I don't care about the Jewish people, whether as a group or even as a historic people. I'm only interested in myself. Lo yaveh Adonai slach lo. This is something that God will not forgive. And God will indeed focus on this man, and all of the negative challenges and curses that we have experienced in the last few parashiyot will come down upon his head, and his name will be erased from under the sky, and God will give him specific attention, that he will be cut off in a bad way, mikol shivtei Israel, from all the different tribes of Israel, as all of the different details have been written in this Sefer Torah. Now, so far I've just read the Psukim, but I feel that this echoes throughout the generations, and this has a very important message for us today. Indeed, the Torah is talking about someone who's thinking of worshipping idols and becoming a pagan and not staying to the monotheism of Judaism. The Nitziv, a very important rabbi from the 20th century, says, by the way, that is the same equivalence, not just of leaving the Jewish God for other gods, but leaving God in general and becoming an atheist and trying to separate oneself from the religious traditions of the Jewish people. And yet, I feel like in our generation, this, in many ways, is something which we need to discuss, not necessarily in terms of the religion of the Jewish people, but in terms of the concept of the Jewish people as a nation. And I'll explain. Throughout Jewish history, there is a constant interweaving of the Jewish identity as a religion, and as we know, Judaism is a religion, and also Jewish identity as a nation, as a family, as a tribe, as an ethnic, I would say, national identity. And there's always been this question throughout the ages. What is Judaism? Is Judaism purely a religion? Is Judaism a religion and a family? Is it religion and a family that you can opt into, opt out of? And all of these different questions, I think, in this parsha really come together. Today, Judaism is two separate things. There is the Jewish religion and the Jewish traditions, but there's always Jewish identity, even for Jews who are secular. And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, at least half, if not the vast majority, of the Jewish people today are not the people of God. They are not religious. They are following Jewish tradition, Jewish culture, Jewish, kind of vibes, but they're not necessarily within the Jewish religion. And here, I think, is where the Torah gives us a very important warning. I don't know if any of you watched the Emmys last week. I didn't. But I saw that there was a Jewish actress who won an Emmy. And one of the things that she said when she won the Emmy was she, in many ways, raised the flag of the fact that I'm Jewish. She claimed, came out in support of Free Palestine and so on and so forth. She was asked on the stage by the press, you're Jewish, and what's the whole business with this Free Palestine business? And she said, the fact that I'm Jewish has nothing to do with the nation of Israel, with the country of Israel. I am Jewish, but I am not of Israel. And I think this very much ties into what we're experiencing in this parasha. If you believe, even within the Jewish people, that you can be Jewish, but b'shrirut libi elech, that you divorce yourself from Jewish history, from Jewish destiny, from the Jewish peoplehood. If you want to separate Judaism from being a Judaism of, and forget about the element of religion, but even if you leave the religion aside, if you also leave the nation element, and you say everyone's growing in one direction and I'm going in a different direction, and b'shrirut libi elech, even if you claim Jewish culture to yourself, but you are divorcing yourselves from the Jewish nation, from the Jewish future, that itself is going to bring the consequence of there will be no future. That will not survive. And God will, in essence, you yourself have brought upon yourself a divorce from the future of the Jewish people, and you will have no part in the future of the Jewish people. Today, I would say a large percentage of world Jewry is being tested, is being asked, do you feel connected to the future and the destiny of the Jewish people or not? Now, just because you do doesn't mean you have to agree with any specific policies or governments or politicians. And the Jewish culture the Jewish nation is very well known for having 12 tribes, 12 different ideas, 12 different perspectives on the world. Come, argue, fight, disagree, shout. But if you say to yourself, no, I am no longer part of Jewish destiny and no longer part of Jewish future, I will do my own thing and I do not want to be part of the rest of the Jewish people, that is something which we cannot accept. That is something that the Torah says that will not survive. So indeed, we can argue, is she divorcing herself from the Jewish people? Is she not divorcing herself from the Jewish people? Are American Jewry and many other Jewries in danger of this? These are things that we must think about in our generation. Think about, how do we echo these words from the parasha and say, guys, where are the lines? Where are you in and are you out? As a Jewish nation that is signing up to be the Jewish people, the people of God, to what degree can you stretch that? When have you gone too far? All of these questions, I think, are things that should give us some food for thought for this week. B'ezrat Hashem, as we go into the new year, we're trying to figure out, now we're going into the next stage of the Jewish future. How can we indeed connect ourselves even more to all of the above? Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova.